This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet world, West Alabama. How we doing today on this Thursday? It is the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com. You guys are hanging out with us on the Bama Central YouTube channel, or you're checking us out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or Amazon. We appreciate everybody who's checking out the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Gonna have a lot of fun, weird show, fun show on a Thursday. Welcome in with our friend Mason Wood live in the Derry Daniel State Farm Studios. We're going to talk about a handful of different things, a couple of like all-timer listings. You got some setups for some decent conversations today. But we're live in the Derry Daniel State Farm Studios with no coffee, with no Mountain Dew. All of our outlets this morning. We're closed off. No Mountain Dew at Mason Woods' watering hole.
The Chevron right around the corner here, you let me down. They let me down. You go to get it, and it just gives you little like droplets of just pure like the syrup. It's the worst.
And there's nobody you can go and be like, "Hey, your Mountain Dew's out," and they'll be like, "I'll fix it in 2 seconds." No.
And then to make things even worse, you go like, "Okay, whatever. I'll get some water, rinse the cup out, dump it out, fill it up." The water didn't work either, so then you're just like, I'm just gonna throw this cup away, I guess, because it's full. It was a whole thing.
Ugh, no Mountain Dew for Mason. I jumped in the Dunkin' drive-thru. I usually make coffee at home, but I was like, feeling myself. No wallet. I'm like, oh well, all right, here we go. We're gonna have to just raw dog the Joe Gaither Show this morning and have a lot of fun.
Luckily, I think Coach Saban had our back, and we gave us some stuff to talk about today. Maybe
it seems so. Coach Saban jumping on the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark, with Channing Crowder. I always want to say Channing Tatum, but it's Channing Crowder, and it's Fred Taylor.
Yeah, that's right.
Is the former Buffalo Bills running back, Fred Taylor. Basically hosting Coach Saban, and there's been a lot of great Coach Saban stories told. They've had a lot of great former Alabama players and NFL players on their show. So Saban has been a popular topic. Obviously, if you don't know, Channing Crowder played for Coach Saban with the Miami Dolphins. There was
some of the best stories.
Yeah, a couple of real good interactions there. But we want to start with that. We want to start with Nick Saban. Then we're going to talk about Jalen Milroe. Oh, I don't think I told you this on my rundown, but I got Alabama and Florida State's early line, 9.5.
I like that.
I don't. At Florida State? No. Gus Malzahn?
Give me Bama plus 25.
Thomas Castellanos? He's going to run the ball 40 bleeping times.
And he'll get 8 yards.
40 times.
Running on the Alabama defense. Running on Kane Womack's defense.
With the quarterback?
Second year Kane Womack's defense. It's over. He's going to learn his lessons. Going to get some guys in there. They brought some guys in there. Got Nakai Hill-Green going to lock things down in the middle.
40 carries, 160 yards for Thomas Castellanos. 4 touchdowns. Gus Malzahn.
Gus Malzahn ain't got the juice no more.
He's got the juice to do a little quarterback run, a little split zone, a little mess with your eyes, a little RPO.
I think they'll be okay.
All right. Well, we want to start with Nick Saban. We'll go into the Steelers. We'll go to Alabama, Florida State. And if we have time on the back end, we will revisit our conversation yesterday about Nate Oates' all-time best Alabama lineup. We teased a little. We started with that with Modi Abate, kind of making him the sixth man for that lineup. And I thought, why don't we think about where those other 6 spots would be? Of course, we invite you to jump in and join us on the comments section at Joe Gaither 6 on any of your social media machines, or at Bama Central on the YouTube channel. You can let us know what you thought of Nick Saban's top 5 players to coach, or top 5 players that he coached at Alabama. And Coach Saban, he, obviously, 17 years, however many All-Americans, however many first-round draft picks. Some people are going to be left off. This is not a Mount Rushmore. It's a top 5, but you still have players left off.
Sure.
Let's talk about these players that he mentioned and then maybe think about who was left off and some unusuals. Coach Saban, my top favorite players to coach at Alabama. He says Julio Jones. He says Derrick Henry. Tua, I really like Tua, is what he said. Tua talking about Loa, Rolando McClain, and Reuben Foster.
Ferrari Foster. Ooh, talk about a dog. That man was a dog. He used to just deliver the most bone crushing hits. I mean, he wasn't built for today's game. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, there's a reason. Is he still in the USFL, or
he might be
not playing Houston Roughnecks or something?
Yeah. Let's see. No, he's a free agent currently.
Well, best of luck to him. But those are your 5 players.
I mean, it's a good list. Fine list.
Everybody's a national champion.
Yeah.
Tua never won one as a starter.
Sure.
Derrick Henry, 40 carries down in Auburn. You talk about a 40 carry game, putting the team on your back. Julio Jones played in the wrong era, but amazing.
God, could you imagine the numbers he would put up on this? Like, next year's offense. A 19-year-old Julio Jones.
Junior Julio.
Oh. I mean, Julio and Derrick Henry are the 2 on here that I think are like set in stone. You can't say this list without naming at least those 2 guys.
Sure. I mean,
the other 3 are maybe where you can get into like, maybe have arguments.
3 different players won Heisman trophies for Coach Saban.
This is true.
And he only talked about one of them. No love for Mark Ingram. No love for Bryce Young. Come on, man. What my biggest surprise, though, not Bryce Young and not Mark Ingram. My biggest surprise, I couldn't decide if my bigger surprise was leaving off Will Anderson or leaving off Minkah Fitzpatrick.
No love for Devontae Smith either.
The 4 Heisman trophies. Oh, my God. What are you doing, Joe? Fail. Big fail. Thank you, Mason.
Well, you said, and I was thinking in my head, like, am I wrong? I had to double check myself.
No, you were right. Thank you. No. I always overlooked Devontae because that 2020 season was so weird.
It was so strange.
You want to know why I always overlooked Devontae? Because Najee Harris won the Heisman Trophy that year in my heart.
Najee was awesome.
Najee, the greatest running back in Alabama history, is my most controversial take. Everybody says Derrick Henry, and I'm like, Najee does everything that Derrick Henry does and more.
Sure.
That's why I love him more. But yeah, so that's why I was sorry.
I mean, Najee is another
Grim Reaper. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Though Najee, another one that like you could throw on this list, and I don't think anybody would really be mad about it. I mean, AJ McCarron. I know that people, poo-poo on the older quarterbacks, but like Saban loved those guys. Greg McElroy too.
Well, you talk about Najee and AJ specifically, and it triggers me off of Coach Saban's explanation on this. He goes, "Oh, I loved all these guys. I loved all the players." He goes, "But I love the guys who were in my office because they were screwing around because they couldn't act right. So you had more conversation with them and had more relationship." Obviously, talking with Rolando McClain and Reuben Foster.
Man, what could have been for those 2 guys?
Your Najee Harris is in that category a little bit. Your AJ McCarron's a little bit in that category. Yeah. Your freshman, sophomore AJ McCarron's in that category a little bit.
I think that maybe that's why a guy like I went through and just jotted down a few names here that I thought like Amari Cooper.
He was on my list too. Like
probably not one of those guys that was sitting in Coach Saban's office that often. He's always seemed like a very quiet, reserved, just I'm going to sit over here and handle my business kind of guy. So I think that he maybe just slipped Saban's mind. C.J. Mosley, another guy who very much was kind of like that as well, just a stoic. I'm going to just sit here and do my job and make sure everybody else around me does their job. Couple notable misses.
Yeah, my list of misses was Bryce, Will Anderson, Amari Cooper, and Minkah Fitzpatrick, and then I had no DB at all!
Yeah.
Exclamation point.
Yeah, I mean, no Minkah is wild. Jonathan Allen, another one.
Quinnen Williams?
Quinnen Williams, man. You can't tell me Coach didn't love him some Mount Cody. Man, I mean, sure, it's a hard list to do.
To crack the top 5, my top 5 favorite players. All right, I'm going Bryson Najee Harris. I'm going Bryson Najee. I'm going Mark Barron.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Talk about somebody that would lay bone crushing hits.
I'm going Mark Barron. I'm going Tim Williams. I know that's not really. That's not
Yes.
really.
No, more love for Tim Wood, the unsung hero.
I just
He was
in an era.
ferocious.
Yeah, in an era where you had nothing on the edge. I mean, let's be honest. For a while, before the Dallas and Will Andersons, you didn't really have any edge rushers for Coach Saban. It was Corey Reamer and Jonathan Allen, like interior guys getting it done. I loved Tim Williams for some reason, and I thought he was going to turn into a real NFL pro, and did not. All right, so I have one more space left. I've said Bryce, I've said Najee, I've said Tim Williams, I've said Mark Barron. My last one, Pat Surtain.
That's a great good list.
He should be on this list. Come on,
Yeah.
Coach. Pat Surtain did not give up a single catch in 4 freaking years. That's not true. That's not true.
I mean, but it's pretty much,
There's my 5.
Anytime he was on the field, it was like, all right, there's one receiver we can take away.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good list. I think I would agree with throwing Bryce in there. I think I got to go Derrick Henry over Najee. That's
cool.
Personally, I love Derrick Henry. He played for my Titans
Hey,
also.
My Najee take has zero disrespect or hatred for Derrick Henry. I want to make that very, very clear.
Yeah.
It is a two excellences and a preference of excellence.
I'd have to get Julio in there. I really loved Quinnen Williams.
That's a good pick.
Really loved Quinnen Williams. And I'd probably that last spot. Maybe Mark Ingram. I did love Mark Ingram. That was right at that 2009, 2010, 2011. That was like prime childhood for me. And that was like, I was just glued to, I mean, everything about those teams I loved. I remember my middle school locker, I had like just handwritten. I just wrote down the starting lineups for offense and defense and just taped them in there and was like, yeah, roll tide. Kids do the weirdest things. I mean, I loved that team. I lived and breathed Alabama football.
I had a friend recently, we were talking about music and talking about songs that, this song sends me into my feels, makes me cry, makes me. How much Alabama means to him and how much the Heisman Trophy meant to him and his family. And obviously his father with his father's kind of issues and everything. Oh, what a moment. What a moment in time.
One of Alabama's best, alumni in media currently, I think. I hear Bama fans kind of talk about sometimes like, oh, I wish we had like our own Charles Barkley. And like, just give Mark Ingram enough time. He's going to get there. I love Mark Ingram. He's electric when he's on TV.
Mark and Roman, look, I shouldn't say this because we need to capitalize and make this idea, but Mark and Roman Harper need to do their show together. They need to do a show together.
That would be good.
They need to do it like offense and defense or something, or some sort of two sides of the ball.
This Mark Ingram, Urban Meyer show is a little awkward at times. They're not. I don't think they're. I don't. It feels a little contractual. I don't think that they're really buddies outside of that show.
Exactly. All right, so those are our 5s, your 5s, Nick Saban's 5s. You mentioned Quinn Williams and the thought. This is the quintessential follow the process. I'm going to sit on the bench and marinate. And then when it's my 1 year, I'm just going to absolutely dominate and become number 3 overall draft pick. Yeah. I mean, just so much fun over the last 17 years.
God. And I'm sure even we, in trying to name players that coach, I'm sure even we missed a few names here and there.
Well, Barrett Jones.
Yeah.
Didn't get mentioned.
I mean, Jonah Williams in his time at Alabama was fantastic. I know his NFL career has not necessarily panned out super well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the linemen didn't get, especially the offensive linemen we didn't mention, but
man.
Leatherwood, the Quanjo brothers. Evan Neal was really, really good here. I didn't love Jedrick Wills, but he was really, really, really good here as well. Yeah. Too many great players to mention. All right, so let's keep going here. You can let us know your top 5, your favorite 5,
Please
your
do.
best 5. What do you think about Coach Saban's 5? Right there in the comment section at Joe Gaither 6. Mason, you threw this one at us, and I think it's a really good one, particularly based on or because of what we talked about yesterday with the top 100 players. We talked about the top 100 players in college football yesterday on yesterday's show, and if you didn't hear it, it's fine. You can go back and listen to it on all those platforms. 3 Alabama players made the list, and 3 Alabama transfers made the list. So you had a total of 6 guys with Alabama ties, but none of them were named Jalen Milroe. And it's fine. We're not sitting here defending Jalen Milroe's season, but we're going to further this conversation by tying it in to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Reports, rumors, fan paragraphs, Redditors, who knows?
The jersey edits, the TikTok edits set to the music,
I don't want to make it sound too official. That's what was my goal there. But it sounds like the Pittsburgh Steelers are swirling around one Jalen Milroe.
Now, it's lying season.
That's why I said what I said. Go ahead. Continue.
The Titans, even this morning, we put out a report that the Titans did not Adam Schefter put out a report that the Titans are reportedly very interested in Shedeur Sanders Travis Hunter. And, which who knows? It's lying season. Every team with a first round draft pick is probably trying to sneak around and plant seeds of misinformation, seeds of doubt here and there on what they're going to do. All that to say, though, Steelers need a quarterback. They're going to be picking right around the spot Jalen Milroe would be available in that first round.
Do I need to have the Jalen Hurts conversation from 2021, right? From 2020? Yeah, from 2020, 2019, 2020, with myself about Jalen Milroe? Because there was a time I was like, he's not going to be an NFL quarterback. No, I'm sorry, he's just not. And then he goes out to Oklahoma, and it's like, well,
yeah.
And then draft season comes, and I can vividly remember I was working for 109, the Tide 109, and all the Alabama fan base largely. He's not going to be drafted to play quarterback. They're going to draft him to move him wide to running back, and he's not going to be drafted in the first 4 rounds. He's a 5th round draft pick, and he was drafted in the 2nd round and has turned into a pretty good quarterback.
I think he is in the upper tier of quarterbacks in the NFL.
You can debate certain skill sets, but he's made it work, is the point. In that spring, I thought, of course he's going to be a quarterback. Of course they're going to take a chance on all his tools. Of course he's going to be a top 3 round draft pick. And he ended up getting big. And I didn't know if that. I didn't think it was as much of a given that he would be good.
Yeah.
But just the opportunity.
Yeah.
I think focusing on the opportunity, Mason, we probably need to. I mean, goodness gracious, this quarterback class is horrific. If you're not getting Cam Ward, and you're in the need for a quarterback,
Godspeed to you. And look, I don't even like Cam Ward that much.
Sure.
But I think he's very obviously the best prospect in this class. Ugh.
Okay, so point being, you're in that group of teams that needs a quarterback, and you're not getting Cam Ward. Titans took him first. Sorry, Mason.
We'll make it work. I will get excited about it.
I think that's a pretty decent possibility. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, alert, charging device. Okay, the device is charged.
That's
Great.
good to know. Glad that it beeps at us and lets us know.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Our nice little Wi-Fi device over here keeping us online. I'm not sure if it is keeping us online better than the other day or not, but point being, you don't have a quarterback. You need to draft one. Do you just run it back with Russell Wilson? I think the Steelers fan base is probably not going to be happy with that.
Ooh.
And I think that you probably do need to make a move for a young, golly, I praise the Lord for Caleb Williams. Praise the Lord that we don't have to draft a quarterback this year. Thank you for I would pull my hair out watching these quarterbacks and trying to decide who to take. So the point of this conversation is Jalen Milroe really a first-round draft pick? Is he a they took Hurts at 35, 6, something like that, because he was at the top of the second round. Is Jalen Milroe, we'll just make it top 2 rounds. Is he a first or second round pick?
I think it's important to note that Anthony Richardson was a top 5 selection in the NFL draft, with a remarkably worse college career than Jalen Milroe put together, and arguably the same skill set. The same kind of potential, the same projection. Like, oh, look at his ceiling, though. So yes, Jalen Milroe will be selected in the first 2 rounds of the 2024 NFL draft or 2025 NFL draft. Whether or not he succeeds, I genuinely do not know. I think it is extremely dependent on what situation he's thrown into. I think if he goes to the Steelers, he has an okay chance. Because, you look at what the Steelers did the first 4 or 5 games of the year with Justin Fields. They made him look serviceable. They were able to get out to, I think, like 3-2, 4-1 record even. So, and then, they throw retread Russell Wilson out there and get to the playoffs. So, this is a team that I think Tomlin has a decent ability to get a lot out of guys who maybe aren't the most impressive skill-wise.
I definitely think a lot of Mike Tomlin.
Yes. I think if he is... It's just going to be very dependent on where he goes. I think the Steelers would be a good landing spot for Jalen Milroe if he's going to get drafted anywhere. I like that fit. I think he fits. He's similar to kind of what they had this year. He's much more athletic than Russell Wilson, but more, looking at the first part of the season when Justin Fields was the quarterback, and they made it work. Obviously, they were not like overly impressive. Everyone kind of knew this is all just kind of Tomlin making it work. But hey, if he's still there, he can still continue to do that. And I know that's not what Steelers fans want to hear right now because they've been in purgatory for God knows how long now, ever since Big Ben retired, essentially. But this may just end up being what it is. I believe that the Steelers like Jalen Milroe. I think he is a type of player they really like, definitely from a personality standpoint, from like a character standpoint. Yeah, I could definitely see it. And I don't think it would be a terrible move. I wouldn't draft him in the first round. We throw a pick at him in the second round if he's there. I don't hate it.
I would really, really struggle to swallow that pick if I were a Steelers fan. Not if he comes to the team and plays the "I'm willing to do whatever it takes" card, because then you get thrown into Taysom Hill.
And I think that's his best case scenario. Like I don't think he is going to have the Jalen Hurts career trajectory because he didn't get that. Like, we kind of see it this year in college. He never really had that. He now the NFL is those guys are all paid a lot of money because they're very good at their job and they are professionals for a reason. They're all those guys can coach.
He's unfixable.
But I don't think. I think
at this point,
yes, I don't think you can fix it. I think his best case scenario is, and he could have a very, very lengthy, probably good career as a Taysom Hill. But that's his best case scenario, probably. And if he wants to do that, great. I think the Steelers, if they decide they want to draft him, they're going to have to. You got to go out and sign a veteran, and a relatively exciting veteran, not like a Derek Carr or something. You got to maybe go
bring back Russell.
Nothing. I don't think they're going to want that. I mean, I think they got to get in the Sam Darnold race, maybe.
Drew Lock.
Aaron Rodgers.
Good luck. Good luck.
Aaron Rodgers could teach Jalen Milroe. He would lead.
No, he wouldn't. They'd
go on a darkness retreat together.
They would hate each other.
He'd take him down to South America. He'd open up his mind.
Jalen Milroe would start giving Aaron Rodgers a bunch of 1-0 platitudes. We're going 1-0 every today. Hey, Aaron, how we go? And Aaron Rodgers would tell him to shut the bleep up.
Man,
and that's not what I think about Jalen. It's what I think about Aaron. Just being a bad person.
You didn't watch Enigma?
No,
I didn't either. I didn't care to watch however many hours of
that sounds
people
like
telling me how cool Aaron Rodgers of Aaron Rodgers telling me how cool Aaron Rodgers is.
Yes, a complete waste of my time. A complete waste of my time. All right, so where are we at here? We're Raw Dog in the Joe Gaither Show. I got no coffee. Mason has no Mountain Dew, so that's why this has all been a little jumbled and maybe rumbling through the off-road package here. Trying to get this thing going here.
The Steelers need to just go split back. Jalen Milroe, Justin Fields. Figure it out, defense.
Wishbone, we just running wishbone all the time.
That would be so sick.
They would win.
They would.
Because the NFL
run game's coming back.
Well, the run game's coming back for sure, but the NFL is so afraid to zig, if you go zig and you zig hard and you lean into it, I mean, it'd be like
everybody would be losing their minds.
Yeah, it'd be like playing the triple option every week. They'd be like, well, we don't have enough time to prepare for it because they only give us 5 minutes to practice every week in the NFL. That's why the product is so bad, because the players don't want to hit each other in practice.
So awesome. I would love that.
And so because of that, you're like, okay, well, let's do something they can't practice.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Wishbone.
Make it work. Make it work, Mike Tomlin. Arthur Smith's still there. Make it work.
Didn't he interview for a head coaching job?
Maybe he did.
I know I know the Bears
did.
interviewed him. The Bears interviewed everybody.
Did they interview Condoleezza Rice?
No. She did not get interviewed, unfortunately. All right, so let's keep going right here in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. We are live on a Thursday, having a lot of fun. Hope you guys are having a lot of fun. We are right there, boom, in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. You can call Derek and his team at 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Call Red, Reese, and Victoria. They're upstairs right now waiting to take your call. They cannot wait to take your call to talk all kinds of insurance for you. Auto, home, life, renter's insurance. Moving season is going to be coming up faster than you can imagine. So you make sure that you're ready with renter's insurance in the summer. Crazy times, goodness gracious. With the winter drivers, make sure you're properly insured on the road. 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. It's Derek Daniel. It's State Farm Insurance right here in Northport, just off of McFarland Boulevard, past the Tiger Rock on the left. Call Derek and his team, 205-758-3391. What you got, Mason? We only have a little bit more time left and not too many other topics. Do you want to go back to Florida State?
Yes, let's do that. Is Mike Norvell, is he going to be giving up his salary this season as well to pay for NIL funds because he was so terrible? Or is that just a one-year deal?
Shoot, I think that you're going to see coaches, my salary is $13 million, but I donate $3 million every year.
They should. I don't want to. I'm not going to pocket watch here, but I think that any single person, any family in the world can be happy with $10 million as opposed to $13 million. I think when we're talking about that much money, that extra $3 million is not really doing a whole lot for you there. I don't really have any reason to believe that Florida State will bounce back next year. Thomas Castellanos just a retread quarterback. He was bad at Boston College. He's going to be bad again next year. They were a bad team this year. They'll probably be bad again next year. I think they've lost a lot of transfers. And once again, I don't think they've really brought out anybody overly impressive in. I know they haven't recruited that well. This Florida State, they thought they were in a bad spot like a couple years ago. They're in a really bad spot now. Can't fire that coach. Paid him all that money. Thanks, Jimmy Sexton.
You can't fire him. Right. That's correct. But I think they're going to get it back.
What does getting it back look like? Is it 5 wins this year instead of 2? What'd they go? 2-8, 2-10 this year?
They're definitely going bowling next year. We'll start there.
Okay.
Start right there. That's easy. Are they beating Alabama? I'll just tell you, I don't feel good about it.
I feel fine about it.
Road game. First game of the year. Going to be a very run-centric team. Trying to look, all you're gonna hear all summer is they were so bad last year.
Yeah, sure.
They're horrible. They're gonna be horrible again. You going into Doak Campbell Stadium?
Mm-hmm.
9.5-point favorites. You're gonna hear, oh yeah, they got that bum from Boston College. I think Alabama's gonna be. I mean, I know we're 8 months away from it,
mm-hmm.
roughly. But I think Alabama's going to be in for a nasty fight that first night of the year.
They might be. I think it's going to be all right. Gus Malzahn, he was a Nick Saban problem. He was Nick Saban's problem. Or, this is a whole new regime. It's not like I don't, we talk about the transitive property applying from like game to game.
Sure.
I don't, I don't think it applies here either from like coaching staff to coaching staff. This is a new Alabama. This is not the same old Alabama that for whatever reason he was able to find a lot of success against.
But it's the same Alabama that struggled last year against quarterback run, and we're going to be going up against a quarterback run mastermind. I know we don't want to give Gus Malzahn any credit, but come on, his little high school offense, it's effective when it's rolling.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not.
We ain't worried about Florida State.
I ain't worried.
We're going over there, going in your trap and taking over your trap.
That's a 2-touchdown victory. That's a 14-17, 21-point win, maybe.
All right. Hopefully, we remember this conversation in 8 months, because the week before the season when I'm like, Alabama's going to win 41-4, and then it becomes a close game. We can replay it.
Yeah. I'll eat my crow.
Or other way around. Yeah. Last thing for the day, we're having a little shorter show just because here we are in middle of the winter football off season. We will get into basketball a little bit more tomorrow. Alabama and LSU should be a pretty comfortable win for the Crimson Tide on Saturday. Get into Coleman Coliseum. I think it's a 7:30 game, so it's going to be really good time. I know the weather. Look, I hope you're all staying warm. It's brutal. Keep your pets inside. Don't be those people. Oh my gosh. If you are those people, I just want you to know I have deep animosity for you. Just take care of each other with the weather. But that being said, I think Saturday is going to be a pretty good little time. We'll talk about Alabama and LSU basketball more tomorrow. But yesterday we were praising Mohamed Diabate. Praising Mohamed Diabate for his new off-road package and his double-double on Tuesday night against Vanderbilt. And really, I just love the way he plays. So we think, oh man, if Nate Oates could draw up, here's my team from all the 6-7 years that he's been here in Tuscaloosa. I think Mohamed Diabate definitely has a spot on the team. I wanted, when we had the conversation yesterday, Mason, to make him a starter, but I realized that's probably silly.
I don't know, though.
So
him and Herb on the floor together.
Woo. Yeah, but you're both sort of doing the same
Guards
thing.
beware.
You're going to play Mark. Mark's definitely starting. Point guard or two guard maybe. Are you playing, is it JQ or is it somebody else? Is it JQ or is it's not JD Davison?
No.
Is it Mark and Josh Primo playing the two?
Maybe.
Is it Mark, Brandon Miller,
Keon Ellis?
Mark, Brandon Miller, Mark, Brandon Miller, Herb, Clowney. Mark, Brandon Miller, Herb, Bediako. I'm short by one. All my math is all wrong. Mark, Brandon. Yeah, I'm short by one. It still has space for one. Anyways,
Kyra Lewis.
I like Kyra.
Another great player.
Kyra to play the point guard to get downhill at an elite level. Mark to play the 2. Brandon to play the 3. Herb to play the 4. And Bediako the 5.
Bediako or Dante Hall?
Yeah, no, I said Dante Hall the other day.
I still do like that.
And I like Dante Hall a lot.
But no,
but the year you had Bediako playing defense.
Angry Chuck.
It was like, oh my gosh. And we all wanted him back that next year. We thought we were going to get him back. So I think that Bediako is your starter. I do think Dante Hall is on the team. But okay. JQ's on the team as well.
Mm-hmm.
Petty's on the team.
Flamethrower Petty.
Basically, it's Herb. It's Herb and it's Mo D bringing the dog in the 2 different units, and then basically pick your poison as far as the rest of the offense and your defensive stopper.
Who else are we throwing on this team?
All right, well, we didn't make.
Juwan Gary was pretty good for a little bit.
No, he's not. He's not making this top 12. Get out of here. Mark's here. Let's see. Mark won.
I do love Keon Ellis. I think he's got to be on this team somewhere.
Mark, Brandon.
Your boy Jaden Shackelford?
No. Brandon. Okay.
Noah Clowney.
JQ's definitely on the team. Herb. No, I wasn't off. Herb Jones. Bediako. There's 5. Bediako. All right. I'm going next. You got to have John Petty. 6. You got to have Mo Diabate on this team. 7. You got to have Josh Primo on this team. 8. You got to have
Grant.
Yes, Grant on this team. Duh. 9. You got to have give me another big. Are we taking Dante Hall
I do love
here?
Dante
Dante at 10. You're taking Noah Clowney as well.
Yeah.
11. So one more spot. Keon Ellis.
I did love some
Keon Ellis. One more spot for get downhill with Kyra Lewis. One more spot for JD Davison. Let's figure this out here. Davison. Cliff Amori, maybe.
Maybe you do take Cliff just to get you some extra presence inside.
Well, I've already got Dante, Noah Clowney, Grant Nelson, and Bediako, and Brandon Miller.
Alex Reese.
Not a bad choice, really. Not a bad. I mean, especially final year, Alex Reese.
That's your locker room glue guy right there. Everybody loves.
I like it. I like Reese as my last one. I do. I like Reese. So here we go.
Or maybe we throw Britton Johnson in there. It's a real glue guy.
Well, Britton's on the team anyways, without a scholarship. Britton and Max Chernowski are holding it down. Britton Johnson, Max Chernowski, Lawson Schaefer was before Coach. Dang. Okay, so we got Mark Sears, Brandon Miller, Javon Clinnerly, Herb Jones, Charles Bediako, John Petty, Mo Diabate, Josh Primo, Grant Nelson, Dante Hall, Noah Clowney, and Alex Reese.
That's a good lineup.
Yeah, that's a national championship winning lineup. We're running and gunning right there. You got at least 2 guys who can play the point, and really 3 if you made 3 or 4.
Yeah,
3, 4, or 5 if you made Petty, Herb Jones, or Brandon Miller do it. You're loaded in the.
Are we getting like? Can we just specifically get one-handed Herb Jones from that LSU game, because that was like peak Herb.
Only if he's playing defense, right?
Yeah, there we go.
He's just defending with one hand. It's like, I'm all up in your face, and then shooting those free throws with one hand as well. It's been a rich 6-7 years here in Tuscaloosa.
It's flown by. It doesn't feel like he's been here that long. I still kind of feel like, oh, he's only been here a couple years, but we just look at since 2018, 2019 he was hired. So, what a run it's been. He continues to be one of the premier coaches in college basketball. I cannot give enough credit to Greg Byrne for how successful this hire has been. And he's turned Bama into a basketball school.
All right. So we got one problem here.
We missed somebody.
No, but Dante Hall doesn't make the cut.
No, just missed it.
Dante's last season I thought it was 1 year.
I thought there was a little overlap there.
You got an extra spot. No Dante Hall.
Is that where you get? That's where you get Omori. Give you that extra big.
It's Alex Chiku.
The French connection.
We're gonna give that spot to the mythical Alex Chiku, who we all thought was like, this guy is a mirage. Once he can figure it out, he's gonna be. He's gonna make it happen.
Alex Chiku, what we thought he was is what Aiden Sherrill is going to be.
I like that. I don't want to just I don't want to just lazily give this spot to Cliff Amori because he's on the team right now, but I think that probably makes the most sense. You need more girth.
You do need a little more presence, especially if you're losing Dante, because he was just such a dog. Like, just banged on the inside.
We'll do it. We'll trade Dante Hall for the big red dog, Cliff Amori. Well, Mason, what you doing this week? You going to
flying into big Philadelphia today?
Everybody keep Mason and Melissa in your prayers as they travel, going to see some family, handle some family business, and just enjoying some family time as well. But we will. Do we need to adjust tomorrow? Do I need to go solo tomorrow? I can.
I will let you know. I'm not exactly sure what our schedule is going to look like. Probably, though. Just preemptively, yes. But I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. Well, if you want to co-host the Joe Gaither Show with me tomorrow, you can be in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios right here off of McFarland Boulevard, and we can have a lot of
behind
fun.
the scenes.
Exactly. Have a lot of fun and make you a superstar like Mason Woods. We're going to get out of here for the day. They're going to go travel. I have to run 6 miles today for half marathon training. 6 miles, 6 miles for the half marathon training, but that's okay. It's good for my soul. It's good for my heart. Get out there, do something for your soul and for someone else's heart as we get out of here for the day. And I will talk to you tomorrow, maybe with Mason Woods, maybe not, on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.